Hello, I just want to give you a little update. I'm going to be doing one video probably, just hitting some highlights on chapter 3 and 4 in banks. I'll do that tomorrow. But I've got your week 3 assignments. I just wanted to go over this. Before I go over this, I just want to say I'd also sent you an email about the little essay due this week, which is kind of like your other little essay you wrote. I call little, I mean, it's not too difficult. It's due on Sunday. I'm putting it off till Sunday. It gives you a little more time. And then Sunday, you also have a Blackboard entry about the videos that I have put on in addition to the ones from last week. You can see that when I'm trying to give you a lot of resources this week, I got a printout of my sheet that I have on here. So I do ask you to do a little intercultural awareness scales exercise and just email to me by Friday. It's a little exercise I made up, and I use basically the same one as last year. I made a few changes, except for the last video is actually, I found it. It's about intercultural conflict, and it happens to be in a college classroom, but I want you to watch it because it gives kind of an idea of people who have different opinions from the professor. And you can see different countries are battling over what should happen to the Antarctic. So I want you to comment on that just briefly. I just want to expose you to it. And then I have a lot of stuff in here. I got my videos here. When you click on them, I got my own little, I did it a couple of years ago. 3 years ago. I've got my books. I talk about books. I have different categories: Hispanic, African American, Asian. And you don't have to watch all those. Watch a couple of them. They're kind of brief. So if you want to watch them all, it's fine. But I have Islamic and Jamaican kind of piled in together, Native American. And I kind of like the one on Gullah, which is an old language spoken in South Carolina. It's a combination of English spoken by slaves in the old days, plus its modification. I also have websites. Most of these, I think I went through. They are all valuable, and you click on them, it should work. They talk about how to choose multicultural books. So I'm trying to give you a lot of stuff on multicultural books. Yeah, quite a list there. You can just go through and look and bookmark anything you want to use for yourself. Then I'm going to talk about the chapters in banks. I'll do that tomorrow. And then I've got a bunch of videos, and I'm going to tell you very briefly about these. You have an assignment in terms of the Blackboard, talking about a couple of these. I'm going to go through them very quickly. I already put a little bit about them. God Grew Tired of Us is about the Sudanese lost boys, they call them. And they're the ones that wandered in the desert, and so many of them were killed by wild animals and people just shooting them like they're wild animals. It's horrible. And they were all little boys, basically anywhere from 3 to 15, and they escaped when their families were attacked. Their older brothers and parents were murdered. Women were kidnapped. Some of the younger boys were used as boy soldiers. It was total destruction. And it was northern Sudanese of Arabic speaking, supposedly, attacking southern. And it was also Arabic or Muslim against Christian. Anyhow, it's a very compelling movie. It's about how they try to move over here and adjust, try to get their families together if they can. Misrepresentation, stereotypes about women. Out of the Past, which is about history of gay issues in America. That's pretty controversial, and I like including it because multicultural doesn't really just have a couple of things it talks about, like language and ethnicity, and then you don't talk about anything else. I also have Poverty in Schools. These are from ASCD, important group, deals with issues in education. Excuse me. Do you speak American? I really like the ones on the South and the West. You'll like these. They're about where our language came from. Then the West one has Valley Girl, Spanglish, and Surfer Dude talk. The movie Clueless kind of comes up. But it's very 90s, so it's not recent, but it's recent in terms of you hear people talk that way. And then I've got one I added on here I didn't have yesterday. I missed it. It was Spellbound, which is I added on yesterday. It's about kids competing for the spelling bee championship. And you'll notice certain groups doing this, and they're excelling at it. Then there's one I just added called 2 Million Minutes. It's comparing high school students in India, China, and in Indiana in the United States. So it gives you ideas about what are their goals, what do they see their future, what are their options if they don't, like one of them, they say, we don't become an engineer, we're a nobody. That's your only option, and it seems pretty bleak. And finally, I also put in Temple Grandin, which is about autism. If you've never watched a movie, you'll like this. But I wanted to talk about include disabilities, attitudes toward those that are different in some way. It could be gifted. I don't have that particular video, but it could be gifted. It could be Down syndrome. It could be physical disabilities. Access to knowledge. Do they have fair chance? So that's what I put on here. There's a lot of stuff on here. And then I sent this other little thing about the assignments for next week, just to give you an idea of what to be working on, like the annotated bib, the one I just emailed you. It has a couple examples. You don't quite have to go in that much detail. I think I put down 20, but 15 will be enough if you do 15 annotated bibs. But I do want them to be pretty thorough. So it should be a couple of paragraphs on each book, not stuff you've cut and pasted. Just look at the book, at least online, and try to reach some kind of conclusion about its value to your school. Sorry, I've been working for a little while, and it's my birthday, and I'm working on my birthday. Yes, it's true. I am turned a big 4-0 this year. So, and if you believe that, thank you. Okay. Well, I just wanted to send this little thing up for you, and I will put this on YouTube, and you can watch it. And if you have any questions, you can email me. So I'll be looking for that email I just sent, and then also look on assignments for week 3.